Hello ladies and gentlemen, today we will check out this magnificent percussion module by HEXINVERTER. This is a purely analog percussion module that is inspired by the classical Roland TR-909 machine, and to be exact, by its rimshot section. But as usual with HEXINVERTER modules, that is just the beginning, just the starting point, and just an inspiration. So if you want to achieve those classical rimshot sounds, you can definitely do that with the MUTANT RIMSHOT. Having said that, it can be much more than just that. You can even have some hi-hatish, snarish, tomish, and kickish sounds with it, as I will show it to you later in this review. As I mentioned before, you have 3 instruments that you can choose here. You flick between those with this switch right here. If you want to achieve this classical rimshot, you will choose high. If you want clav, obviously go for clav, and the low is meant for designing some toms and kind of kick sounds. The source of the sound, which is a 3 oscillator core, is later on passed to the state variable filter, which has 3 modes: high pass, low pass, and band pass. You choose the mode with this switch right here. As for other controls, pretty simple. Cutoff right here, resonance right there, pitch and mod decay coupled with VCF mod. What it is essentially is an envelope that controls the length of the sound, decay of the sound, but at the same time you can control the cutoff of the filter using this attenuator right here. It could be positive and negative, so you can achieve some really crazy nice sweeps and zaps. Other than that, we have a drive knob right here, and this is especially useful because we also have an external in right there, so you can route some noise or some other oscillator, and you can use the filter of rimshot to process that sound, but it will not be affected by the drive. So drive makes the sound more saturated or more clean. At the same time, it sets the level of the internal sound versus the external source. There's a trigger input, accent input for more dynamic patterns. You can control pitch and cutoff via control voltage right here, and that's it. Really simple. Now let me show you how it sounds. That's the most classical TR-909 rimshot sound. Okay, cutoff, resonance. Now the filter self-resonates if you adjust the resonance to the extreme position. Okay, now you can hear the decay. If you make it shorter, you can get those nice bleeps up to some really long sounds. As I mentioned before, you can also modulate the cutoff with this knob right here. So you can achieve some nice zaps and sweeps, also in the opposite direction. So okay, you can drive that thing, as I mentioned, so it's more rowdy. So it stops sounding like a rimshot. Now if we switch to the lower rimshot, we get the lower voicing, so to speak. So you can use it as a toms module. If you make a shorter envelope, And of course you have the 3 different filters. You can switch to the bandpass. Okay, so for example, you can have some hi-hat sounds with it. Some closed hi-hat, for example, like that. If we make it faster, maybe it's gonna sound a little bit more exciting. Okay, so not only rimshot but also different hi-hats, metallic percussion sounds, and anything between that. The clav sound is the most transparent. It uses only one of the 3 oscillators, and it's really clear and piercing in its character, as you can hear. Now you can of course modulate, for example, pitch of this, as I mentioned before, so it's more dynamic. You can also insert some pattern into the accent, like so. And it's not the percussion module anymore, it's some weird bleeps generator. Even bass. Alright. Of course, nothing stands in the way of modulating cutoff frequency, so it's even more crazy. This is just the internal sounds. As I mentioned before, you can also plug in some external sounds, like a basic noise, for example, like so. So you can hear it in the background, and it could be processed by the filter. Or I can plug, for example, some other oscillator, like shapeshifter, for some more interesting and complicated layered textures. And this also will be processed by the filter. So a myriad of possibilities. It could also be a really inspiring raw sounding oscillator. Now you certainly won't be able to play Chopin with that, but it's about fun, right? So if I plug in a square LFO wave, for example, into the trig, and change the speed, you can see what's happening, right? Now, change the filter setting, change the instrument. You know where this is going, right? Okay. Change the filter again. Now, you thought it's just a simple rimshot module, right? Nothing special. Think again. It could serve you as a percussion module, but it could also be a crazy bleeps and glitch generator. One more thing, there are some switches at the back of the module. You can change behavior of the kind of modulation. This could be switched so it's modulated by the internal VCO, and also you can extend the pitch on this module, so it's more experimental but less faithful to the original inspiration. But if you ask me, the default settings are more than enough for many months of fun. Thank you very much. Till the next time. Bye bye.